podcast. I am Amy, coming to you again from the Hudson Valley in the state of New York. I am podcasting from my home. Not a lot of outside podcasting. I have not been able to be outside, so it kind of makes me sad. Anyway, this is episode 101, and today is October. I think it's the 6th or the 7th. It is the 6th. It's Saturday. I have lots of moving news for anyone interested. I'll talk about that at the end. Needless to say, I have not had a lot of knitting time. Selling a house is a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. And seriously, even if I had some time, I just kind of haven't felt it. But I do have stuff to show you since the last podcast, and a lot to talk about. I did get a lot of new yarn, but I don't usually show new stash. But if you'd like to check it out, I should have it up on the in my Ravelry page. I got some spiritual fiberwork yarn. I bought a skein for that tit. If I want attention, I'll show my tits thing, where you can dyers all over the world were dyeing for their favorite cause. So I have a beautiful skein of that, and I bought some yarn from Schoolhouse Press to make some colorwork mitts and cowls and stuff. Oh, and if you're wondering, oops, see, it's flipped, so it's messing me up because I'm looking at myself and everything's flipped. I went to the Renaissance Fair in Tuxedo, New York. They have a fantastic New York Renaissance Fair, and my old friend Demi, who is actually my ex-husband's oldest daughter, so she's my ex-stepdaughter, but she and I are only 9 years apart, and even after I divorced her father, we remained very close. She actually lived with me for like 5 years after the divorce and helped me take care of my daughter and the house, and was an amazing help. She was an adult by then, and I gave her a place to live, and she gave me childcare for her little sister. So anyway, before I moved, I wanted to do something special with her. We don't spend a lot of time together lately, but you know, she's a very special person to me. So we've been meaning to get together. We were just going to do dinner, and she's like, let's go to the Renaissance Fair together, because we used to do it all the time with Rachel, my daughter. Not so much my son. He wasn't into that, but we always had a lot of fun. And it just seemed like the perfect way to do a little send-off gathering with her. So we did, and we had a great time. I can't show you pictures because Demi doesn't like having her picture taken. So no pictures of me and Demi. But, you know, you got to respect everybody. Yeah, so that was really fun. And it was my friend Christina who did the henna art. She works at the Ren Fair. So that was cool to see her too. All right, so let's talk about knitting. I have all whips today, no FOs, and yeah, I'm real excited about them. I'm really, since things have kind of slowed down, and when I have had time, I just kind of mostly knit on the sock, because sock knitting for me is not a thinking thing, and it's very relaxing and portable. So that's what I've been doing. I've been knitting this particular sock in Spiritual Fiberworks Sunna, which I believe I've talked about wanting to cast this on the last few podcasts, I think. So the pattern is called Reason, and it's from Socks 2018. It was like an e-zine. It is Spiritual Senna in the colorway Echo. Beautiful, beautiful color. Little speckles and stuff. Jennifer from Spiritual Fiberworks is the most amazing dyer. She is a color artist. So here is the pattern. I printed it up. I have to say it's well written and everything. Don't get me wrong, but that's the last one. It's not the most well thought out sock pattern, and when you look at the picture and you see how she's only showing you the side of the sock, in both of the pictures too, by the way, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is that the patterns that she picked, so there is a chevron pattern down the center and a cable on each side. It's not a well thought out combination. And here's why. And I'm going to show you on the sock that's still unfinished why that's not a good idea. And it looks fine. They look great on my foot. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying you're not going to get a chevron-y looking pattern because the cables are making the rows tighter, and the chevrons can't do their natural thing, which is make a V. So you get, it's just, I mean, you can see a V, but the stitches don't take on the V because they're being pulled out by the tight cables. So I think what she was going for didn't happen, but it's really still a great pattern, and like I said, well written, and it's easy to memorize. I'm really enjoying it. And they're flying off the needles because the Senna is a heavier fingering weight, almost a sports weight, maybe. So the socks go quick. And in my experience, Senna is like the best sock yarn out there because it has no nylon, it has silk. It has superwash wool, cashmere, and silk. And the silk makes it super strong, soft, and it really smells beautiful too. So Senna yarn, the best yarn out there. And yes, a very enjoyable, well written, and beautiful sock pattern. Oh, the pattern is by does not say. Let me go to my notes. Hold on. Who the designer is. The designer is Becky Sorensen. And again, it's from the ebook Socks 2018. I love almost all the socks in that ebook. I could knit them all, but yeah. So I don't know what socks I'll cast on next, but they'll definitely be up here going right on the needles after this. I'm sure I'll have these done before Rhinebeck, and I'll probably have another pair of socks on the needle, so I should probably look around and figure out which ones I want to knit next. Alright, so next project, well, I didn't really work on my rose gold shawl much, maybe a few rows, so I will show it to you. Where is it? Hold on, sorry. Yeah, it's in here still. So the rose gold is a Andrea Maury pattern, or Dre Renee Knits, you might know it as. I'm knitting it in both the combination of Knit Picks Hawthorn and some Madeline Tosh. Is it Madeline Tosh? Yeah, Madeline Tosh sock in the pecan colorway. And okay, so here is my progress keeper, you can see. Right here. I'm sorry, it's really throwing me off, this flip of the camera. So I've knit a few inches since I last talked, and I'm going to change that right now so I don't forget. But yeah, it's just plain brioche right now, going along fine. I was hoping to get these done for one for each of my sisters for this Christmas, but I'm still not done with the first one, and which is part of the reason I haven't cast on another big project like a sweater or something, because yeah, I wouldn't want to get one done for each of my sisters, and that's got to happen before. I at least want to finish one for now, and then maybe cast on a sweater, do some sweater knitting. So that is where I am with the rose gold, and I actually feel like knitting on it. I have one other shawl that I did cast on because I couldn't help it. I wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but it ended up being this one by Melanie Berg with MNAC Fibers, which I used my patrons discount for Fruity Knitting to get some MNAC Fibers. But what I'm knitting is the Open Water Shawl by Melanie Berg. It's the fiber is very kind of reminds me of linen. It's soft, but it's got like a I don't know how crispness to it. So it's not squishy, it's crispy. That sounds terrible. But I'm really enjoying this pattern. You can see I've just started it. I haven't knit on it much lately because, like I said, I've just been focusing mainly on the sock. I just have had a lot going on, and it's been very stressful, so I just, I started it. It's here on the needles. I probably didn't need to cast on another shawl, but I did. And I think I took it, we went to Lake George again for a long weekend. I just wanted something different to work on, and that's kind of why I cast it on. But I think I just worked on the socks up there too. And I literally just sat by the water and knit the whole weekend. It was a wonderful weekend. We really needed it. We had finished doing all the work we wanted to do on the house, and it was the weekend we put it on the market, and we just decided to, the realtor was having open houses for the realtor open house and for buyers to have an open house. So we just said, well, let's just go away. We need a break. We've worked so hard this summer, you guys. I know I talked about it last time, but oh gosh, selling a house is a lot of work. All right, so that's that. You saw the socks. Oh, so the other shawl that I was considering casting on and it ended up not was the Girlfriend's shawl by Isabel Kramer. Girl's Best Friend, not Girlfriend. I'm sure you all recognize it. It's been very popular. And I really, really am excited to knit it. And I have the perfect colors. Let me show you. I'll be using, this is all wool fingering weight. I'll be using these 3 colors. I think it will be beautiful. They look a little bright on there, but it's really kind of, especially the yellow is not that bright. It's kind of subtle. And I just think it's beautiful combination. I haven't decided which color will be the border or whatever, probably the dark one, I don't know. But I love it. So they're skeined up and ready to go. I even have a needle in there to knit it with in a Knit Spin Farm bag with the frogs. So it's ready in case I need something and can get to my stash. I have worked on my Alice Starmore sweater love. Let me just pull it out so you guys can see it. I don't remember if I showed it to you last time, but basically I went into storage. A lot of my stuff is in storage, And I dug it out because I was just jonesing to knit on it again. Excuse me. So I think I will put a progress keeper on here too, just so we can keep track of where I am. But here it is, coming along. Oh, just holding it makes me want to knit on it again. Do I have a progress keeper in here? I don't think so. So one on this side. Yeah, no, I'll put one in. But you can see I had just finished a full repeat. So yeah, this is just a few rounds more than a full repeat. And I just love it. I can't wait to knit in my new house. I'll have a fireplace. I can knit by a fireplace. I've never had a fireplace. I had a fireplace in my childhood home, but not since I've been out on my own, and I would love a fireplace. Our new house has a gas fireplace, but still a fireplace. It was just like, I wasn't, when we were looking, I wasn't making that a consideration. It just happened that we found a house we loved that had one. You know what? I'm going to put that progress keeper on while I'm thinking of it. So if I make any progress, I can show you. I'll put it where the steek is. Where is the steek? Here it is. It's a little stitch marker here. So that's Alice. Alice Starmore. The most amazing Fair Isle designer ever. Another color artiste. Yeah, so that's about it as far as works in progress. I've got another knitting gift. I dropped something. I'll get that later. I know I talked about it in the last podcast. I participated in a knitting swap through the Knitting by the Sea podcast, and my swap partner went to on a holiday in Ireland and bought me more gifts. So she bought me this beautiful bag with mermaids and stuff on it. I love it. I love the colors. I love the pattern. And it's kind of fitting because it's through the Knitting by the Sea podcast, and I love the nice neutral inside. She bought me a skein of Irish wool. I have to think about what I would make with this. It's super wash and it's Aran weight. Maybe a nice pink hat or gloves or mittens rather. I'm not sure. And I got this beautiful keychain, which I'm gonna actually, now that I've shown you, I'm gonna put on my keychain. And shells from the shore of Ireland, which, if you know me, is very special to me. So I'm going to show you my shells. This. And here's a nice rock. Another rock. I love rocks. I collect rocks. And here's another beautiful shell. I'm touching something that was on the other side of the world. These kind of things just kind of are really kind of profound to me. So I'm very grateful for this gift. And yeah, it was a wonderful swap. I've participated in swaps before and been disappointed. But this was, I mean, she really outdid me by far. So I'm very, very grateful to my swap partner. Put this away. And now I'm going to talk to you about some fixes or changes that I plan to make. I was going to block this, and I had it laid out on my bed before I put it in the water, and I noticed, oops, shoot. Oh, no, hold on. coming. A hole. Oh, I'm so upset. I can definitely fix it, but it's going to be like real pain. It's all the way down here, and it's in a section that's alternating skeins. Do you see it? I don't want to pull on it too much just yet because I'm not ready to fix it. I'm going to fix it today or tomorrow. You see it? Right there. And it looks like the yarn just broke. I really am not sure if, I don't remember any knots at all. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing I caught it, because if I had gone and blocked it, I probably would have pulled it out more. Now, since the yarn is completely just broken, I'm going to have to carefully unravel it, pick up the stitches, and I think maybe graft it together, and then weave in those ends of the broken yarn. Is how I'm going to do it. It's in garter stitch, so it will be easy to graft. But damn, I can't believe it. Anyway, I should put a little stitch marker in there to keep it in place. So that's one thing I'm going to be mending. I only wore it once too. I wore it to work one day. You know, I don't know how you guys feel, but I find I knit these beautiful things that I see modeled, and they look so great on, they're like worn and styled perfectly, and every time I try and wear them, I just can never seem to make them look nice. Which kind of leads me to this. I have made the executive decision that this sweater is just too big and baggy, especially around the yoke. The rest of it I can deal with. It's also very pilly. I have to fix that. I also got snag. So I think I'm just going to pull that through to the inside of the sweater. I have to depill it. So this is a vendor that will be at Rhinebeck. And what this means is I have to rip off the button bands because they're knit lengthwise like this. And so I have to rip all that work out, all the button bands, the sewn on the button, the little basted on ribbon, which will now be the wrong length, all the button band holes, which were actually too small, so that's kind of, too big, so that's fine. And then I'm going to rip down to the color work, and then I'm going to pick up from there, and I am going to go down a needle, and I am going to do more decreases so that when I wear this, I don't feel like it's just like sagging and just, look, here's the neck down here. It looks like a friggin' V-neck. And this is how it lays naturally. And if I want to wear it, I have to kind of like place it and then like, but eventually it just, by the end of the day, it's like this, looking sloppy and ugly. And I just don't want it to look like that. So I am going to take all that out. I'm going to remove the short rows I did in the back to make it higher, and I'm just going to keep going around and make it a tighter and higher neckline. So just, you can see why I need to do that. It's just the neckline is way too big. This fabric stretched out a lot. I was thinking of putting it in the laundry to see if it will stretch a bit. Contract a bit because it's super wash, and putting it in the washer and dryer. And I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna rip it out and do it right. Or not do it right, but do it different to make it fit well. Because I'm not gonna spend all this time and money on a sweater and not have it fit well. I'm not gonna redo the whole yoke. I'm just going to do from that was something I thought about, and I just thought, I just need to do down to here. I can make this higher and tighter, and that would be fine. It will hold it on my shoulders. The rest is fine. My big bust kind of fills it out. It's just around. See, that's the problem. Oh, tangent. When you have a big bust, like mine, like 48 inches around at the largest, spot, E cup, you want to make a sweater fit, but if you make the fit, the size for the 48-inch bust, you have a neckline that's not this big because it's stretched out a bit, but everything else is too big. So I have to pull out that I saw the book, sweater knitting book, that gives all these tips about sizing and bust starts and stuff, and maybe start looking into. I've never done bust starts before, or maybe I'll Amy Herzog. I'm a member. I have a subscription to her thing, and I have all her books, and I have her Craftsy class. She would be great too. To maybe plan a sweater, just a basic sweater, and put some bust darts in it, so that I can fit up here, and I can fit in my waist, which in my waist is actually in pretty tiny compared to like my hips. So I'm like I have all my weight is in my my butt and my thighs, and my waist is pretty tiny. I mean, I'm still heavy in my waist, but comparatively, I guess, proportionately. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to get this done before Rhinebeck, because I have another project that I'm working on that I can't talk about or show you, that I'm actually going to record a segment about it after I finish this, and when this is all done, I will show it to you. But you'll see it as it progresses, because I'm going to, record. And I still, okay, so now I'm going to be getting into chatter, because that's all the knitting I have to talk about. So I just wanted to say this is mostly going to be about me and my move, my relocation. And if you're not interested. Oh, and I will be at Rhinebeck. I'm definitely not moving until November, so I will be at Rhinebeck. So I'm very happy about that. I didn't want to have to, move and then fly back just for Rhinebeck, which I probably would have done. But money's going to be tight for me for a while. My house that I bought is a little more expensive monthly than what I've been paying for this one. And so I have to curb I can't spend the way I used to, but it'll be worth it. And I promise, I'll promise a Rhinebeck episode, and I will do everything I can to make sure it's outside. I have to say the weather has been unusually warm. I think Rhinebeck is going to be a warm Rhinebeck. And so what I will do is I will probably wear my my Humulus sweater by Isabel Kramer with a t-shirt underneath, so I can take it on and off easily. I was going to wear this to show the folks at Old Wool, but unless I have it fixed, I'm not going to do that. I have to go into storage and find my defuzzer. I think I packed it. It's just a pain. Anyway, moving. So we are in contract now with the buyers, a young couple. The house is in great shape. It's a great house. We took very good care of it. It has a new kitchen and a really nice bathroom, and we took care of it. But we also failed almost every inspection test that you can fail. And the only one left to get fixed at this point is the septic system, but our septic system failed, which shocked me because we've never, ever, ever had any problems at all with our septic. And we're at the top of a hill, so all the water goes downhill. So we are relatively dry up here, and water has a place to go compared to other houses in this neighborhood because I am near the Hudson River. And the water table is pretty high here, so you tend to have damp basements, and my basement is damp. And you tend to have a lot of the houses, especially down the end of the street where I used to live, in an apartment, in a two-family house down at the end of the street. And my basement had a river going through it. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, holes would pop in, water would gush out through holes, little holes in the basement wall. And the backyard would get all mushy and stuff because the septic would get overflowed, and there'd be nowhere for the water to go. And I would get shit coming out my tub. It was just terrible. But none of that at all here. But it failed, and it's, basically if you fail the septic, you can't sell your house here. So I have to fix it. And the company that inspected it gave a quote, and I got a couple others, but I do have a guy coming in next week, so that'll be fixed. We failed the radon tests, so we had to put in a radon mediation system that kind of drills a hole in your basement and creates a little pocket, and then it has a fan, like an exhaust thing, and it goes out. They drill a little hole in your basement wall, goes outside, and it looks like a gutter, except at the bottom where the motor is, because you have to plug it in and stuff. It has, it's kind of ugly, but we can paint it. Well, the new owners can paint it if they want, to match the house. But it's necessary because radon is a carcinogen, and apparently it was 4.0 is the maximum allowed, what's considered the maximum safe amount, and we were 5 point something. So we had to put that in, and then the electrical line going down the side of the house, coming in from the street, but the line from the house was old, and the inspector said it was frayed, so we had that replaced, and a new meter box put out. And what else? Oh, mold in the attic. So we had to have a certified mold inspector come from the state, and they write a report, and then what's the name of the company? I forget. It's through McHale's, but they come in and they do the mold cleaning, and then it gets retested. And we're waiting on those results. It should be back early next week, just to show that it's definitely clear now of any mold. They guarantee it, so they said if the test comes back positive, they come back and they do it all again, no extra fees, until the tests come back negative. So all these things we've been doing. Oh, we had to fix there was no flashing around my chimney. So before I bought the house, the whole roof had been redone, and whoever did it, well, I know who did it, but he's deceased now. And I know him. He was my neighbor. When I lived down the street in that apartment, he was actually my neighbor. And my opinion is he was probably drunk when he did my house, because he was some kind of drinker. But not to speak ill of the dead, but he should have put flashing around my chimney. That's a standard thing to do when you do a roof, and he didn't, so there was some damage up in there, and I had to build a cap for my chimney. So this was the most stressful thing. I'll tell you what, the most stressful thing, besides finding out that I had to pay thousands of dollars to fix a septic system, which is very expensive. The economy is doing well, and all of these contractors have tons of work, and not one of them would even talk to me about coming here for these kind of jobs. I had to do the chimney cap, replace flashing, put handlebars on my stairways, and they wanted extra support added under a beam underneath our kitchen. Those were, oh, and there was some plumbing too, but even the plumber was not a big deal to get a plumber. It was, I broke down. I didn't have to, I just did. I broke down in tears finally, because no one would even come and look at my house. They're like, yeah, all right, maybe in December. And I'm like, I can't wait till December. And all the fixes, and this was the complaint. First of all, it wasn't a big enough job for them to come all the way up here for, because I live in the northern part of Westchester County. And number two, wasn't big enough. And a lot of them said, that's handyman stuff. You know, you don't need a contract. And I'm like, I do, because I'm selling the house and it has to be fixed by a contractor. But really, like, that was the most stressful thing. And so I finally had to call a friend and ask him to call in a favor. And even so, it was like pulling teeth to get someone to come here and fix the stuff that needed to be fixed by a contractor. And I was just like, I didn't know what I was going to do, really, because I didn't think I would be able to find someone to do the work. And then I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So, but it worked out. They're coming this weekend, actually, to finish up. They couldn't do some of the work in the attic because the mold hadn't been done yet. But now that that's all done, they'll come and they'll do that, and they'll put the support beam under that thing in the basement. And everything else they did already, the chimney stuff. So we're getting there. And then once all this is done, I submit all the receipts with the license numbers of all the people that did the work. There was some leaks in the furnace that we had a plumber fix. Just little stuff. It really wasn't a lot. I mean, it was money I had to put out that I didn't really, was hoping I wouldn't have to, but that's just the way it goes. To make the home safe for the new owners. So I hope they love it. I hope they love it as much as we have. There's no closing date yet. I'm not sure if that's going to really get set until they get the receipts showing all the work is done. And they want to do a walkthrough, which is fine, to make sure everything's done. And then they sign off on the inspection saying, yes, they're not going to ask for any more work. And then we can set a closing date. So we're getting there. I have my house in St. Louis picked out, and we have a contract with them. And we set the closing date way out in November, which gives us plenty of time to finish things up here in New York. So if I have to move out of this house before my closing date, I can stay at my sister's for a couple of weeks if need be, or family, or Sandy, or, you know, there's lots of options. So I'm not worried about that. And I have a month of storage through my company's reload program. And yeah, that's kind of where we are with the move. It's been, after the inspection was done, I was really, really stressed out over just pulling it all together and getting people to come in and do the work. I had to borrow some money from family because I didn't have the cash available, because everybody wanted money up front, you know. The septic guy is the only guy that's being really understanding. He's asking for half up front to pay for the materials, because he's got to put in a new field and some new pipe stuff. But he's asking for half up front, and I can pay the rest after I close, but I still had to borrow money to get everything done. And it's just been really stressful. Really, really stressful. Ooh, it's not fun selling a house. So, but we're there. And I think the new owners, from what I hear from my realtor and stuff, they really, really are excited about the house. And they're a nice young couple. And it's a VA loan, which means he's a veteran, which makes me kind of proud, or I don't know, proud, but happy that he's going to get this home. And yeah, so it all works out. It all works out, and that's the kind of the news on the house. My official close date in St. Louis is November 19th. And I doubt we'll put, even if things wrap up quicker than anticipated here, I doubt we'll move sooner. I just, at this point, I just figure I'll just keep it the way it is. So that's about all I have to talk about. I'm going to end it here, and then I'm going to record a quickie session on my secret knitting so that when the secret's out, I can show you all the progress as it's come along. So with that, I will say ciao for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience, and I will see you after Rhinebeck. Oh, and please say hi to me at Rhinebeck. I'm going to just be upfront and say I'm terrible with names. I am so sorry, especially when I'm like thinking in terms of Ravelry name, and not real names, or some of you I know your real names and not your Ravelry names, and I'm just bad with names, so please understand if I can't remember your name. It's nothing personal. And then the other thing is, yes, say hi, give me a hug. I'm a hugger. Are you a hugger? Yeah, so I would love to see you at Rhinebeck if you're going to be there. I kind of wander around aimlessly during the podcast meetup on Saturday. I'm not shy, but I am. I'm not good at starting conversations. And I just kind of feel funny sometimes. I don't know what to talk about, but you know, just me. Don't take it the wrong way. So I really do love it when people come up and say hello. So I'll see you all in a few weeks. Bye bye.